All right, let's see if I can get anybody in here with me. I don't know if it's gonna do this with the webcam or whatever. Got one. What's up, bro? Got three. All right. I ain't been on here in a while, and what I've been doing is I just been sitting back thinking about a lot of stuff because my brain's always rolling. I got the type of brain that's always thinking about life and thinking about things and thinking about topics and thinking about, stuff that applies to living in this world today and the condition of the world today, the condition of the relationships between men and women. And what I was thinking about was like, I was looking at my own life and I thought about something about, what's the most important thing to me and what was a goal that I wanted to strive for and strive toward. And the thing that I always have strived toward and strive forward to do is like become like personally autonomous. And what personal autonomy means is it means the ability to self-govern. And as a man, I think the most important aspect of being a man, as far as I'm concerned, is like having the personal freedom in my life to be able to have the choice to do the things that I want to do and not do the things I don't want to do. So before I even came into the pill and I got the knowledge of like, the world that I live in and the women around me and all the kind of base stuff that you learn when you first get here, like I had started working toward becoming autonomous in my own life. So I realized that the only way that I was going to be able to be autonomous in my own life was I had to keep myself out of situations where people had the ability to tell me what to do. So the first thing I thought about was I thought, if I'm working a job for somebody else who has the ability to hire me or fire me or pay me a certain amount of money or not pay me a certain amount of money, or I have to do what they say, or I have to, abide by their rules, show up at their times, and basically perform for them to make money. And if I don't perform up until the level that they want me to perform, then I can be terminated and then I don't have a job anymore. So the first thing I figured out was this. And they mentioned your name during Black Ram 313 Live. Thinking, man, yeah, that's my boy, man. We talk a lot. But what I was saying was, so the first thing I thought about like becoming personally autonomous in my own life was I understood that like I couldn't work for anyone. I couldn't be like a part of corporate America. I couldn't work for anybody else's company. So what I did was I figured out the route that I would have to take to become my own boss and to own my own business. So growing up, luckily I had a father who taught me how to work, and I had a skill of being an electrician. And, coming into my manhood and everything like that and figuring things out after I had got myself out of trouble and I turned my life around and I got out of the streets and I stopped selling drugs and I stopped using drugs. I stopped chasing bras and I stopped doing all that kind of stuff. What I came to the realization of was, yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. If y'all new subs in here, man, salute to everybody. MGTOW Life, DJ Codeine, Nick Beam, my brothers. I appreciate y'all being in here with me. I'll give y'all a little background on myself. So last year, what I did was, while I was working with somebody else, I grasped all the knowledge that I possibly could, and I went around trying to get as much information on owning a business, and how to become like independent and be on my own. So what I did was I took the skill set that I had already and I thought about it to myself. And this is what I want people to look at. Like, if you're here, what's up, Nomad? If you're here and you hearing the sound of my voice, you got to really realize like you have probably a superior intellect to the average person that's walking around here today, because it takes a certain amount of intellect to even understand and really see what's going on out here today. And so what I did was I sat back and I looked at the people that I was working for, and I thought to myself, I'm getting these people rich. And when I look at them, none of them are smarter than me. None of them are nicer than me at what I do. And none of them have the people skills and the personality to like become successful. So what I did was I looked at it and I said, okay, man, what do I have to do to get myself in position to become what these people are and eventually pass them up? So what I did was I talked to people that were open to giving me information. And that's the thing we need to understand. Like sometimes in life, like as a man, even as a man, sometimes you got to go to other people that have experience with stuff that you don't to get you to a place of position where you could further in your life and become more personally autonomous. So what I did was I talked to a couple of my friends and that were in the electrician field and stuff like that. And I asked them how they got their own thing together. And some of them, so many jobs which don't really need a qualification. I know it's crazy. Um, so what I did was I figured out what I had to do, and but without telling my boss or without telling anybody, I had pocketed $13,000 because what I did was I was working two jobs and I was going to college full time. So I had two full time jobs and I was going to school full time. So what I was doing was I was just ducking away all the money that I had. I didn't spend any money. I didn't blow any money. I just took every penny I had and I put it in the bank. So when I started formulating my plan, my exit strategy, and then to get on my own, what I did was I took the money that I had and I bought a truck. I had bought a Dodge Ram, like a 2009 from one of my friends for like $5,000. I bought a toolbox for my truck. I bought the tools. I bought all the tools that I needed. I figured out what I had to do to go get my license. I started going to school in Baton Rouge. I quit both of my jobs that I had and I graduated from college and I started going to school full time. So now I'm down to about, I'd say probably about 6-7 grand. I had to pay to go to school. I had to pay to get my license, stuff like that. So I went to school. I went until I was comfortable enough to take the test. And the first time I took the test, I failed it. I missed it by one question. But, you know, knowing about perseverance and about the principles of not giving up and about the principles of like continuing forward and putting one foot in front of the other one, I didn't let that stop me. What I did was I kept going back to school. I went to school even harder. I studied even harder. I did everything I could. And the second time that I went, I passed my test and I got my statewide master's electrical license. So now I have a license. I have a truck. I have tools. I have the experience and the experiential factor of working. So what I did was this, unannounced and unbeknownst to anybody around me, I went up to my boss and I said, look, I'm quitting. I'm going out on my own. And see, the thing about it is this, bro. When you got people that's around you, man, you got to understand if you're working for somebody, I'm going to give you this tip from being a businessman and owning my own business. Their goal is to keep you in a position where you're comfortable enough to never question them or never leave them to try to do better for yourself. They bank on people never trying to move past a certain amount of life because they understand if you go out there and you go further and you get your own thing, you become a threat to them. So I had told a guy that I was planning on doing that because that's what I wanted to do. But he didn't believe I was going to do that. But whenever I walked up to him and I told him, hey, look, man, this is my last day. I'm starting my own business. You know what I'm saying? Then I became a threat to him. So I left. I didn't have no co-signer. I didn't have no one backing me up. I didn't have anyone like, you know, putting me out there or anything like that. I just had to go out there and take a risk. Now, this is going to be the part where it ties into the pill, where it ties into MGTOW and all this other kind of stuff, okay? So in the process of doing this, I was in a relationship, a back and forth relationship, situationship, or whatever you want to call it, with this female that I dealt with, who ultimately, going through what I went through with her, brought me into the knowledge of the red pill, which at the time I thought it was a bad thing, but looking back on it, like, she was the greatest instrument that's ever been given to me in my life, because the trauma and the thing that she put me through and the way that she treated me ultimately led me into the pill to learn about myself and to learn about women out here. So now it's about 2018 and May of 2018. And I got about $5,000 in my name. And I'm with this chick. And I understood, like, being with her, I was never going to be able to focus on what I needed to focus on. The thing about this is I don't have any children. And I don't have a family of my own. But the way I look at it is like, my business is my baby. I birthed it. I earthed it, I raised it, and like, I'm ultimately responsible for how it turns out in the end. So what I looked at was this, and I'm not talking bad about the girl or any other woman out there, whatever. I'm past all that shit, man. I don't even give a fuck about that shit no more. But what I had to do was look at it like this. I looked at it like this, man. The girl that I was with, she was getting older, you know, she was past the point of reconditioning or trying to train her or do anything like that. And when I looked at her, and I thought about it, I said, you know what, bro? She's replaceable, man. she's replaceable. And at this time, man, I really cared about this girl. I really had feelings for her. Like, I thought I was in love with her, whatever you want to call it, and everything like that. But then I looked at my business and said, this would be one shot that you get to do this right. And if you fail, you'll never get this shot again. So I had to make the hard decision, because as a king and as a man, you got to make hard decisions to get to where you headed. And sometimes you got to make sacrifices. And I'm an electrician as well, Tampa, Florida. Oh, bro, it's the coolest trade to have. The only one I would say is probably a little bit paralleled and equal with that one is being an air conditioner, man. Because where we live at in the South, bro, I'm gonna tell you like this: no matter what, if somebody's air conditioner breaks, they paying to get that fixed, and they paying whatever the person asked for it. So what I did was I ultimately left this girl, and I got my own place. And I'm gonna tell y'all, man, in the first year, bro, was the first thing I learned in the building trade. Yeah, electrical's cool. And the thing about it is, people pay you top dollar for electrical work, because that's the one thing in the house that if it's done wrong, to burn their house down and kill them. Yeah, AC techs are getting bread, bro. I'm telling you, man. Like, think about it like this, bro. I see AC dudes change out units, and one day they charge 10 grand. The materials probably cost them about $2,500. If they got a crew out there with like 5 guys, the labor's probably $1,000. Whoever owns the company is clearing like $6,500 in one day. That's a great day. I make money, and I make good money, but I don't clear money like that. But my plan is, brothers, is to down the line, after I establish myself in the electrical field, which I'm getting to the point where I establish myself, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a HVAC enhancement on my license, and I'm going to do HVAC work, and I'm also going to do electrical work at the time and get my hands in a bunch of different fields, man. But back to what I was saying. So I left this girl, and I went out on my own. And what I had to do, man, and this is for anybody that wants to start their own business and stuff like that, and become autonomous and become their own man and stuff. I'm just trying to give like free game to people that's out there that might be thinking about doing this. In the beginning, I had to start. And what I had to do was, business is business, man. So what I did was I went after the guy I was working for. I went after some of his customers. And due to the fact that I don't have the overhead that I have, that I don't have the payroll and none of that kind of stuff, I was able to get the work cheaper. And one thing you'll realize about this world, man, is like money trumps everything as far as business goes. Like, if somebody been dealing with you for a long time and somebody young comes in that is hungry and wants to do the work for a cheaper price, and the person knows that they're getting the same price, they're going to go with 99.9% of the time, they're going to go with the younger person with the cheaper price to do the same work. So I realized when I first came into the game to get myself established, I was going to do stuff for a little bit cheaper than people that had been established was doing. But the way I looked at it was, before that, I was working for somebody else, making $15 an hour and maybe clearing $500 a week. If I went in with people and I worked for $55, $60 an hour, I'm still making triple what I was making with somebody else until I eventually established myself. Doing maintenance is a good income. I'm a service electrician, nomad. So like that, I don't really fool with new construction. Once in a blue moon, I do remodel work. And oh man, Trent's doing good. I talked to Trent. Yeah, I know, but due to lack of experience, the cheaper guy can give a bad example, as in the job is not done good. Well, yeah, you're right about that. But see, the thing about it is, Trent's doing good, man. I just think he stopped making content for a while. What's up, old school? How you doing, my brother? Good seeing you, man, like always. Nomad, you're right, but due to lack of experience. But the thing about it is, I came in the game with 17 years experience already. I had been doing it since I was 17 years old with my father. And then I took a break to go to college and stuff like that. But then kind of found a love again for it whenever I found myself doing that kind of stuff. But the thing about it is, I was coming in at the low, but they were getting the same quality work that they were getting because I was the one doing the work for the guy before me. So so what I did was I went in cheap at first, and I got a couple customers. They lower prices big time to get a job. They do crap job and it has to be done again. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They do that a lot here too. But the thing about it is that that's like a lot of new construction guys. They don't really have a lot of people that got their hands in the service game from where I'm from. Because I live in a town that's about like 45 minutes out from New Orleans. And the good thing about that is that where I live at, no young people want to work for a living. You know, everybody wants to go to college. They want to do tech stuff. They want to work in the office. They want to work in the office. They want to work in the air conditioning. And all of the older guys that been doing this for a long time where I live at, they moving out the game and they retiring. So it's like me and 4 other guys that are my age and younger than me that got electrical licenses to do all the work in my town. And yeah, they got jackleg electricians and people without licenses doing stuff. But the only way that you can get a permit where I'm from and get a disconnect and a reconnect where I'm from is that you got to have a license to get a permit to get it inspected. So what I did was I left my girl, or left the girl, because we all know that they're never your girl. They're just the girl. They're everybody's girl now. So I left the girl that I was with, and I got my own place. And, I started busting out there, man. I had to go get cards made. I started bleeding the block. I put my suit on. I went to businesses. I went to places. I went to real estate offices. I went to oil field companies. I went to individuals. I went to talk to people I knew. And, I just started putting out the vibes out there and everything like that. And it was slow at first, man. And, I really, really, really had to like penny pinch and everything like that. And I penny pinched, man. I didn't spend any money. I didn't, like I can remember like December of last year, from like Thanksgiving to January, like the middle of January, I had absolutely no work. And that's one thing about owning your own business you're going to have to learn too, is that you got to learn like how seasonal things are and like the ups and downs and how the money flow is and everything like that. Because the thing about it is, like when you're in a trade, the summertime and the spring are your best times to make money, because you got tax season around that time and you got people wanting to spend money. The worst time that you're going to have as a business owner is around Christmas, Thanksgiving, and the holidays, because people are trying to save money and they're trying not to spend money. So you got to kind of pattern and find out your earnings until you establish yourself to where you got consistent work all the time. So what I did was I left the girl I was with. I got my own place and I just started grinding. And the wonderful thing was, when you put in a position where you are the master of your own universe and you are the master of your craft, and that you have no choice but to go out there and do it yourself, you have to like learn things as you go. And the thing about it is that you start making money in the game, and whatever game you're in, the way you make money is you learn how to price things, and then you learn how to do the work more efficiently and more fast, So what you do is you figure out what your price point is. You figure out what everybody else is charging for stuff as far as like doing service work, changing out panels, whatever your trade is going to be. You find out, what the status quo is. You find out what's the highest somebody's charging for what they're doing. And then what you do is you don't be the cheapest person. That's what I was going to say that too. Don't be the cheapest person at what you do, but don't be the most expensive. Fall somewhere in the middle. And that's what I do. So what you want to do is you want to fall somewhere in the middle to where you're not cheap, because when you're really cheap, people think you don't know what you're doing. And when you're really expensive, people think you're trying to cheat them. So you fall somewhere in the middle. And then what you do from that is you become more efficient with your work. You can do it faster. So as you continue mastering whatever your craft is, you're going to make more money. And another thing I want to say about your price too, if you're going to own your own business and you're going to do what I'm talking about, is never back down off of your price once you give it to somebody. Because what happens is, if you give somebody a price and then they start questioning your price, then you're going to be known as the guy that they could talk down out of what they want for their work. So what you do is, if you give someone a price and they act like it's expensive, what you want to do is you want to tell the people, that's fine. If you change your mind, give me a call and let me know. So what they're going to do is, no matter what, more than likely, people with more money are going to be the stingiest and the cheapest people and the hardest people to get your money from. So what you want to do is, they're going to go price check you against people. And if you fall somewhere, if they've been dealing with you before and you're not as expensive and not as cheap as some people, they're probably going to go with you because they've been dealing with you. So you got to be ready for that kind of stuff, because what you got to understand about being a businessman is, like in my case, you're not just a worker, you're a representative and a salesman of yourself. So just because you can work good and everything like that doesn't mean that you're going to be successful in business. What's going to make you successful in business is your work ethic, your proficiency, but also the way that you know how to deal with people. Only drawback is health insurance. Big companies can get medical, dental. Hey, what's up, Chronicles of AJ? Yeah, you're right about that, bro. I don't have health insurance because I take care of myself. So unless some unbeknownst thing would happen to me where I would have this or whatever, like then I'd be screwed. But really and truly, MGTOW life, when you look at health insurance and everything like that, you really got your co-pays and shit are out of this fucking world for shit. So it really doesn't matter. Pay me the job, but you put the materials. No, bro. No, man. I got to disagree with you on that one, because check this out. The thing about it is, I don't, like you say, you're an electrician too and everything like that. Materials is where you make some of your money at, because you do the markup on the materials. But the thing about it is, bro, if you've been doing this for a while, or anybody been doing this for a while, you become proficient, man, at bidding and stuff like that. I could go look at a job and I could pretty much have a price point, because what you do is you bid it a little bit over what you think it's going to cost because of unseen variables. Because unseen variables could happen. You could go to a house where you think it's going to be one way and you come into some problems and you got to troubleshoot some stuff and it takes a little bit more time. And, you know, you got to have the variables in it. So really and truly, though, I'm going to tell you, man, the most important part of the game of becoming like a successful businessman is the way, water pipes in the wall and stuff like that. Exactly. The most important part of the game is this, man. Your personal interactions and personal relationships that you build with your customers, man. You want your customers to like you. You don't want to become too friendly with them. You don't want to start hanging out with them and stuff like that. But what you want them to do is believe that you're trustworthy and be trustworthy. And I'm going to tell you, if I had to say one thing that's going to push you over the edge or make you fail in life and anything that you do, is this, man. If you tell somebody you're going to be there for 8 o'clock on Monday, be there at 8 o'clock on Monday. No matter what comes up, unless an emergency comes up, you call those people and you tell them, hey, I can't make it, I'm sick, this and that, you know what I'm saying? Whatever happens, you let them know, because one thing about it is, once you get a reputation of being somebody that doesn't show up and doesn't do what they say, and your word means nothing, you're done. I don't care how good a work you do. I don't care how much, respect that you have before that and everything. If you don't stick to your word, people are going to know that. And another important thing about the game that I'm in is trust your vibes whenever you meet people to do work for them. See, I have a degree in behavioral psychology, which has given me the ability that when I deal with people, well, I'll say when I've dealt with people, except women I've been in relationships with, that shit went out the window for that, because when your dick's involved and stuff and you start fucking bitches, you get retarded. But other than that, when it came to dealing with people in my regular life outside of that, I go with my vibes, man. So if I meet somebody and I get an off-putting vibe about them or something like that, like I won't work for the person, because I kind of feel like I'm not going to get my money, and by doing that, kind of watching cues and body language and like the way they say certain words and stuff like that, I think it's kept me out of getting in trouble of getting my money, because I've always gotten paid from everybody I've done work for. So you want to build your reputation, and you got to be patient. You got to understand, man, if you're going out on your own, make sure you got some money saved up. Make sure that you have the ability to pay your bills for a couple of months, that you have enough money stacked up, because what you have to realize is whenever you get into a place to where you want to start taking care of yourself, working for yourself, and be autonomous for yourself, what you have to do is this. You have to realize that the race is not a sprint, but it's a marathon. The people that make it in this, man, is like the race is not to the swift, but the ones that can endure to the end. Well, sometimes you can do that, bro. But okay, what I'll say about that selling MGTOW is this. If it's a big job where it costs a lot of money, I'll ask for half up front, to where I know no matter what, I'm gonna get paid at least with half of my money. And what I also do is, before I'll start a job that's big, I'll write up a quote, and I'll get them to sign the quote, because I got some personal invoices made up for my company, to where if they try to stiff me, I'll have their handwriting and their signature on a quote and on an invoice saying that they're going to pay me this money. So when I go to small claims court, that I'm going to win no matter what, because there's evidence there that they were going to pay me. I know it's a hassle and everything like that, but I never had trouble getting money from the people that I've dealt with so far. So for about the first year, man, I was just doing what I could, man. I was working for people and I was getting work here and there, but I knew like not to spend any money. I didn't buy any clothes. The only thing I bought for the first year that I was in business was I got my own apartment. I got some furniture for my apartment. And I bought work shirts. I bought some personal work shirts, man. And that was a big thing too. I got cards. I had got some flyers, and I bought tools and things to like make my company better. Like, I had to get drills. I had to get sawzalls. I had to get reciprocating tools. I had to get Dremel tools. I had to get hand tools. I had to get tool bags. I had to get toolboxes and stuff like that. But I didn't look at that as spending money, because what you have to look at is that is an investment in yourself and in your future. And what you can do in that is when you work for yourself, you have to pay your own taxes. And what you have to do is you have to try to find as much stuff to write off on your taxes at the end of the year. So tools, truck, equipment, clothes, all that kind of stuff, that's all write-offs that you can have at the end of the year, to where you don't have to pay an ass load in taxes, because the self-employment tax already is 15.3%. And then you have your personal tax after that too. So what you want to do is you don't want to ball and blow all your money and shit like that. And you want to pay your taxes quarterly, and you estimate what your taxes are going to be. And by estimating, you're not going to get caught at the end of the year with some big old fee that you can't afford to pay. You always want to have a foresight to think 4 steps ahead or 5 steps ahead, and think about the various variables of all situations. And I know in the MGTOW community and everything like that, like a lot of this stuff is about women and the interactions with women and stuff like that. But like, I kind of was thinking about some stuff, and I thought to myself, like, I want to try to teach men, how to become great in their own lives, man. So that's why I kind of made this video and everything like that. Because the thing about it is like, what I understand is like personal autonomy and the ability to govern yourself is the greatest gift that you could give yourself as a man. And if you have someone telling you what to do, some parts of the EU were over 21 and 20. Yeah, I know, that's crazy, man. So the way I looked at it was, self-improvement all day, my brother. The way I looked at it was this, like, I'm drinking some celery juice right now, man. The way I looked at it was this. I understood that being in that situationship that I was in, and living with that woman I was living with, and dealing with that situation I was dealing with, there was no possible way I would have been able to focus on the most important thing in my life that belonged to me, that I could control, which was my business, man. Because if any of y'all who are in here, I'm gonna pretty much take a guess and take a shot in the dark and say, this is what I'm gonna take a shot in the dark and say, that none of us have had peaceful interactions and peaceful relationships with women. We all get to the position that we're in because we've been with crazy, nagging, obsessive, narcissistic, insecure, psychopathic women. So by me knowing that that was the type of female that I was dealing with, I understood that there was no possible way that that was going to be in my life. And I was going to be able to, that's the thing I wanted to say about it, is like, a thing about this, like, people don't really understand the gravity of what's going on out here today. Like, just think about this, fellas, y'all 12 guys that are in here with me now. Things have gotten so bad and women have gotten so out of control that they made men create something called MGTOW, which is basically men turning their back on women, bro. Like, how insane is that, brother? They basically made a community of dudes that all like women. I think it's safe to say that everybody in the MGTOW community, everybody in the red pill community, and everybody in this room with me really likes women. I like women. I think women are beautiful. I like the way they smell. I like the way they feel. I like how they touch. I like having sex with them. But the thing about it is that everything else that they bring into your life is horrible. And I'm gonna tell you, like, if you want to know what it's like to go to hell before you die, I'm gonna tell you the secret to go to hell before you die. This is the secret to go to hell before you die. Get into a committed relationship with a liberal woman. If you want to know what it feels like to go to hell before you die, all you have to do is get in a committed relationship and move in with a liberal woman, and you will understand what hell is before you even leave this earth. Because this is what hell is. I like them too, but don't trust them all. Well, Scant Dollar and Chronicles of AJ, I'm just going to quote one of my favorite rappers of all time, who is Cameron. And Cameron said, I don't trust a hoe that goes from mother to baby mother. So That's just a quote that I want to throw out there just to talk about what y'all guys were talking about, and I feel it the same exact way. Get married is even worse. Okay, so like, okay, I was with this psychopath, okay, and the thing about it is that like manipulation is their game. So if you understand manipulation, because a woman ultimately get into a relationship with a American woman, that's literally hell on earth. Absolutely, bro. Like, so the manipulation game is this. Like, you got to understand this, fellas. With the condition of the way things are out here, you got to understand that your woman is never going to want you to be as successful as you can be. She's never going to want you looking as good as you could look. The average Joe, which is married around, he is happy, still getting pussy every week. Yep. You got to look at it like, okay, because that's the whole thing about it. If you start making a lot of money, your money gets up, you get your body in good shape, you get your mind in good shape, you start taking care of yourself, you get smarter, you get, because we age like, you know what I'm saying? We age like fine wine, man. Like, I'm almost 40 years old, bro. And I know I don't look nowhere near 40 years old, man. Like, I'm taking care of myself. Man, women age like milk, man. And white women age like bananas, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, when they start aging, bro, they age like bananas, bro. So what I had to do was I had to look at it, and I had to say to myself, like, okay, so I know this situationship is going to end anyway. I know this chick's going to leave me. I know her age like bananas. I know, man, bananas age bad and quick. So I had to look at the situation like this, and I had the foresight to see this, okay? Yeah, I know I'm white and I deal with white women, but don't lie, bro. Like, they kind of age a little bad, man. Like, I had a few of them, bro, that was young, bro, and they had all them things by their eyes and shit already, bro. They like, especially if they redheads, bro, with freckles. Like, redheads with freckles, and then when they don't have no melanin in them at all, bro, it's over with for you. By the time they're 30, they look 50. I'm just keeping it a band. I'm just keeping it a buck. You know, the last girl I was with, even though she was like not a really nice person, she was a genetic anomaly. She was 36, 37 years old and still looked like she was in her 20s. But the reason why is because she was half Mexican. If she was all white, she would, yeah, it depends on the mileage. You know, it got a lot to do with genetics too, though, man. You know why I married them? Because they all stress related diseases brought on by women. Yep. So what I did was I seen a lady who's 21 but looked 45. Yeah, I know that shit is crazy, bro. So what I had to do was I had to have the foresight to see that like this woman wasn't gonna stay with me anyway. Like, there was no possible way, you know, how her hypergamy was gonna kick in, because what she had to do was, you see, she tried to bait me into marrying her. You know, when we was together, she told me, she said, you know, let's get married, all this kind of stuff. So like I had kind of stumbled upon a pill at this time. So what I did was I looked at the woman and I asked her and I said, well, look, what facilitates a successful marriage? Because I've never been in one and you've been in one. So you tell me what's going to make a successful marriage. And I'm gonna give y'all the insight into the mind of the average liberal female that lives in America today, bro, that we dealing with out here. She told me, be a good guy, go to work, take care of the house, and take care of your girl and handle your business. Now, what I want you to notice in that synopsis that she broke down to me was this. In the whole process of her giving the synopsis of what makes a productive and successful marriage, she never mentioned one time anything that she had to do. So the way that they look at this is, the thing that's going to make a successful marriage is you doing everything that they say to make them happy and being a slave to their every demand. So when she said that to me, this is what my rebuttal was to that. My rebuttal to her was this. Well, that's what your first husband did, and you still left him and took half his shit and destroyed his life. And when she looked at me like this and said, well, I was just young and I didn't know any better and I've matured since then and everything like that. So this is what I did. See, I put the ultimate test of stuff because this is what I do. I say things and I do things and I wait for people's reactions. So I told her this. I said, look, I love you to death. I want to be with you. Never felt like this about nobody in my life. So this is what we're going to do. I don't have a lot right now. But I know that you have the foresight to see that I'm going to be successful in life, that I'm going to have a lot because you know my mind, you know my work ethic, and you know my grind. So I said, this is what we're going to do. we're going to go to my lawyer's office and we're going to do this. We're going to get some paperwork written up that says, if there's any evidence of infidelity on your part in any form or fashion, whether that be electronic phone calls or any kind of interactions with any other men besides me, or you leave me for any other reason besides evidence of abuse on my part, we leave, we cut ties, and we just leave it like it is, and you get absolutely nothing. Do y'all know what this woman looked at me and told me? Oh my God, I can't even believe you would ask me to do something like that. That means that you don't trust me. I don't even want to be with somebody that would look at me like that. I said, that's cool, whatever. I don't even care. But that just showed me right then and there what she was about and what she was going to be about, because I look at it like this. Peep this shit out, fellas. She knew, she had the foresight to see that she could marry me and get me to marry her. And then she could still do whatever she wanted. She could run around with other dudes. She could fuck with other dudes. She could treat me like shit. And I wasn't going to leave her because I wasn't going to want to lose what I had. But she would stay with me for them 10 years, man. They so cunning, bro. They so cunning. Y'all think we understand this shit, bro, but they understand this shit, bro. They understand how these laws work. They understand how men operate. They understand all this kind of stuff. She had the foresight and the patience, bro. She would have stayed with me for 10 years, bro. And in 10 years from that time, bro, I'm going to be a rich man, bro. I'm going to be a very successful rich man with a lot of stuff and a lot of resources and a lot of power. And she knew that if she waited for them 10 years, bro, that she was going to leave me, divorce me, and get max benefits to everything that I had. My 401k, my retirement, my money, my company, everything. So what I did was this. I made the hardest decision that I ever made in my life, man, and I walked away from that woman. And when I tell y'all, man, that was the hardest decision I ever made in my life, bro, that was the hardest decision I ever made, because I left someone that I still was deeply, deeply in with. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still had feelings for that girl, bro. Literal or liberal woman? Liberal woman, man. Yeah, she was liberal, bro. So this is what saved me, fellas. Like I say, like hopefully I gave y'all the blueprint on how to open your own company and thing like that, and become autonomous in your work life and your business life and stuff like that. But this is how I became personally autonomous in my personal life and all around in my life. So I left that situation, and that's why I want to talk about what Nomad's talking about right now, because that's the most important thing that you're ever going to come across in your life. Listen, man, you have to love your bros, man. You got to understand this, man. You have to love your bros, man. Scant, listen to me, man. You have to love your bros, man. I'm telling you, bro, in the end, your bros is all you're going to have, bro. I got dudes on my team, bro, that I know would take a bullet for me, and I would take a bullet for them. And if I had to catch a body for one of them, if we caught a body together and I got caught, I'm going to take that ride forever and keep my mouth shut. Because you got to look at it like this, man. Never cross your bros, man. Never cross your bros, bro. And one of the things is, like, YouTube and the conduit of YouTube and me becoming a content producer and getting involved with other people, man, I got friends that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life, bro. Like, I met people here, bro, that I got connections with. I even went visit one of my partners in South Carolina, man. Like, I went on a vacation to South Carolina, bro. Went hang with my homeboy. He gave me the place, rolled out the red carpet for me. All I had to do was drive and get out there and spend money on food and stuff like that, and had a nice vacation to get away, So, and the crazy thing about this, bro, is I heard this from one of the most blue pill human beings that I ever came across in my life. This dude, 60 years old, he's still running behind women, still trying to get in a relationship, still trying to live with them, still trying to do all this. After his first wife destroyed him, took everything from him, took his kids from him, took his money from him. He got nothing to his name right now. He's living like a peasant at 60 years old. But he told me something, man. He told me this. He was like, he used to be on the phone with his homeboys all the time when he was with his ex-wife. And his ex-wife used to always ask him, why you always on the phone with those guys? Why you always talking to them dudes? You seem like you care about them more than you care about me. And he looked her in her face and told her, the reason why I talk to these guys all the time is because they'll be here long after you gone. And I was like, wow, bro, You know, I was like, wow, that there's nothing that could be closer to the truth than that, man. You know, so what I started doing is I started investing in my people, man. You know, I started investing and hanging out with my bros. And like I said, I got friends online I talk to. Old school Tony Carter, he's in here with me. I talk to him sometimes. You know, we was in here in the beginning, man, making content. We was second wave MGTOW, bro. After the first crew came here, we was the second crew in here. We was doing this whenever they barely had anybody. And I know I took a break and yeah, they just spit out the red pill over and over. Sad reality. Yeah. So what I started doing, I started connecting with people, man. Old school Tony Carter, MGTOW Savior, Trent No Spoons, Coat, Thinking Man's Templar. You know, I got a lot of buddies, man. I talked to my homeboy Big Alex out there in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, my homeboy Mark from New York, and stuff like that. And it's the importance, man, of having that brotherhood and that kinship with each other, because what y'all dudes should realize and probably do realize is this, man. They don't have a lot of people out here with the same mindset and the same thought process and the same beliefs that we have, man. Bro, I'm the only person in my hometown besides one other person I know that got red pill by default through his experience that that live the way I live and think the way I think. And yeah, TMT, man, that dude don't make videos. That dude makes movies, man. That dude could make red pill movies, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my boy, man. Big Alex, what's up, bro? I just gave you a shout out, dog. I just was telling people how I came out there for vacation and you showed me some love. I told you need to make your own channel. You start putting out your own content, bro, because you got a voice, bro, and you can help a lot of people with your experience too, man. That's what everybody on here needs to understand, man. Make your own videos, man. Make your own content. You know what I'm saying? Like with me, I don't ask for no money. I don't ask for no donations. I don't ask for anything from anybody because I make my own money. I just do this for the love of the game. You know, I love being able to come on here and talk about my experience in life and to see the build up from where I was first at to where I'm at today and how much my life has changed and be able to give men hope. And I'm going to talk about something that happened yesterday because I don't usually talk about what I do for other people. And I don't usually talk about, yeah, exactly. I don't like to talk about like the way I help people or do anything, but I'll go into a little bit of background about who I am. You need to, bro. I'll pop one off with you the first time you do something, bro. We'll do a live together. So like if you've been following my content for any amount of time, you realize like, you know, I struggled with drug addiction throughout my teens and throughout my 20s, man. You know, I got into the streets. I was selling drugs, and then I became a drug addict. I started using my own product, and I got strung out on drugs from like about 21 to about 29. You know, yeah, I like Big Herc. I like Big Herc, man. I like him, and I like that new white dude, Wes Watson, too. That's a good channel, man. What I was looking at was this. So I got my life together at about 29. I got off of drugs. I quit using. I got my life together. I got into recovery. I started doing stuff. And for the first 5 years of my recovery, I worked at a male treatment center, a halfway house at night for men trying to get off of drugs. So it gave me an opportunity to stay in the field and share my story and help people out and stuff like that. But I had a situation yesterday. I was riding around my hometown, and I seen a guy that was in a halfway house at one time, and he was walking the streets. And what I did was every time I see him, I break him off some change. You know what I'm saying? I give him a couple dollars or something, tell him to get something to eat or do whatever you're going to do with it. So when I seen him, he asked me if he could get a ride. So I was like, yeah, bro, I got you. Now, the dude, he knew he was smelling bad and stuff like that, but I didn't even care about that, bro. I let him jump in my whip. You know, like he put the window down. I'm like, bro, I ain't even tripping on that shit, bro. Like, where you trying to go? He told me where he was trying to go or whatever. I said, bro, you just need to realize. Now I'm like, and I didn't come at him in a judgmental or like a degrading kind of way or anything like that. But I said, man, bro, when you gonna get it together, bro? I'm like, you know, I got the route. Like, when are you gonna get it together? Like, man, I know I need to, bro, and everything like that. And the dude broke down, bro. He told me, he said, man, I'm gonna tell you something I ain't never told nobody in my life. He said when I was like 4 or 5 years old, my mom had this boyfriend that was coming to my house, and he used to molest me and shit like that. And I've been carrying that around me for the last 30 years. And he's like, I can never shake those memories or those thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And when he was saying all this, like, I just told him, I'm like, yeah, I understand that, bro. And I don't have any experience with that. And I'm sorry to hear that. but just remember, bro, people love you out here, bro. I'm like, I love you, dog, and God loves you too. You know what I'm saying? That don't change the way like people feel about you. Like, I don't judge you or nothing like that. I understand I've been where you at, bro. I've been on drugs. I've been homeless. I've been where you at, like, and I just want to let you know, bro, you never too far, bro, to come back. You know, so what I did was I brought him to the store and I got out and I was like, here, man, take my number. I gave him my card. I'm like, look, bro, if you ever want to come to a meeting and you ever want to come get some help and you ever want to like come just talk or whatever, bro, just give me a call, bro. And, you know, after we left the situation or whatever, he gave me a hug. He said, I love you. I said, I love you too, bro. He said, man, it's the first time in my life in years, bro, I ever really knew anybody really cared, bro. And when I left that situation, bro, I understood what the purpose of my life was, bro. Because for a long time, bro, I used to be upset and I used to be mad that God blessed me with a pure heart, bro, to where I really care about people and I'm really a good person, bro. Because I knew throughout my life, a lot of people had used it to take advantage of me, man. You know what I'm saying? And when I left that thing, bro, everything made sense to me, man. It's like, man, God blessed you and put you in a position where you at today, bro, to help other people that other people can't reach, man. And that's such an honor to me, man. It's such an honor to me, bro, that I was lifted up out the trenches, bro, that God reached deep under a rock, bro, and pulled me out and wiped me off and dust me off so I could be a message and I could be an example to others where I was at, man. So whenever stuff like that happens to me, man, it makes things a little easier for me. It makes me realize like a lot of stuff that I thought was important and a lot of stuff that I thought like really mattered don't really matter, man. You know, and that's what you should do as a man too, bro. It's like if you're in a position that you like to help people, bro, help people that can't be helped, man. You know, help people, help dudes, bro, that the world turns their back on, man. Homeless people, bro, dudes on drugs, bro, because like none of us know people's stories, bro. I come into contact with so many dudes, bro, and their story is all this, bro. You know what I'm saying? Their story is all this, bro. It's always like they was with a chick, bro. This the story 95% of the time, bro. They was with a woman that they was madly in love with. They had kids with her. They did this, they did that. And then the chick just up and left them, bro, and they was just lost, bro. Like I go to New Orleans sometimes, man, and I look at it and I'm like, they under the Claiborne Bridge where I stay at, it's like a homeless encampment, man. And I see all the men under there living in tents, laying on beds and stuff like that. And I just think to myself, like, them dudes are still reeling. Them dudes were still reeling and still dealing with the heartbreak of like what happened to them, man. Because I'm gonna tell you, this is the main thing of confusion, which keeps men down and keeps men in that position of where they just destroy themselves. This is it. Before you get to the red pill, I don't care how many people say they used to be this and that and all this kind of stuff. I don't subscribe to all this kind of stuff. A lot of people say, I just subscribe to my own experience, man. Before you get to the pill and you have unsuccessful dealings with women, you take that shit on your responsibility like it's all your fault. You always think everything is your fault because this woman's always telling you, if you didn't do this, if you did this, if you did this, if you didn't, the thing about it is when men take that on and they take that responsibility on and they believe that everything is their fault, you always feel less than inside and you always feel like you were a failure and you always feel like you didn't do the right thing and stuff. But once you come to the pill, and you understand female nature and you understand the dynamics of the world that we live in, the government that's here, the laws and all this kind of stuff, you realize it had absolutely nothing to do with you. If you're a good man and you showed up the right way, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't drug, I don't gamble, I don't hit chicks, I don't cheat on them, and I'm a stand-up dude. You know what I mean? And the way I look at it is this. If I do all that and you still complaining about insignificant, frivolous, bullshit all the time, man, all that shit is they shit, bro. It's all their shit. It has nothing to do with you, man. I know what type of dude I am. I know the type of caliber I have. And I understand that all the girls that tried to make me think that I was less than, they less than me, man. No girl I ever dealt with could deal with me on a moral, intellectual, or even, you know what I'm saying, even a spiritual basis, man. None of them, bro. So the way I look at it is like this, man. If you're in a marriage and you have children, you know, with a liberal woman today, man, it's impossible for you to have personal autonomy in your life. I just seen situations like I go to the bar every now and then, even though I don't drink, I'll go to the bar and I'll drink some Coke and I'll drink. Women brought me to drugs and alcohol, the red pill, turned me to Moses. Absolutely, bro. I respect that. The first girl I ever dated, bro, she she condoned and pushed me being a drug dealer and got me to do drugs, bro. I'm not blaming her, but before I was with him, I wasn't with none of. Before I was with him, I wasn't with none of that kind of stuff. So you can't have personal autonomy, man, when you're dealing with a liberal female today, man. When you're dealing with a modern liberal female, feminist female today, bro, there's no way you're going to have personal autonomy, because what she's going to try to do is she's going to try to break you and mold you to be able to control you. That's going to be her ultimate goal in life. And they know that the way they control you is through sex, is from the give and the take away. So what they do is they get you hooked on sex. They allow you in the beginning to have sex with them as much as you want, as much as you want, as much as you want. And they become the sex dealers and you become the sex addict. So after they start to, all right, I'm gonna call you later, bro. After they get to the point to where, you know, they get you hooked on the sex, then comes in the manipulation, and then comes the control factor, because they know that you're gonna want that, and you always want to get it back to the place that it was in the beginning. But they know that like it's never going to get back to the beginning again. So what I've noticed about relationships since I've been in them is that in the beginning, you get everything that you want. But as it progresses more and more, you get less of what you want and more of what you don't want. Because one thing I noticed about being with somebody, after a while, the sex slows up, the stuff slows up and everything like that. And then they start becoming more nagging, more controlling, more cold, more manipulative and emotionally abusive towards you and stuff like that. And you're constantly trying to like bring things back to what they are. So what you do is you start capitulating back to them and trying to placate them and trying to fix something you didn't break. And then you start feeling like you're crazy. Because one thing that I had to do was I had to realize like it wasn't my responsibility to put Humpty Dumpty back together again when I didn't break it. So you cannot, are you red pilled or MGTOW, or man, honestly, man, I'm not even gonna anymore. I'm not even gonna put myself in a category, man. I'm just gonna say that I'm just a man. I become a man. I thank God for MGTOW. I thank God for the pill. But it's elevated me to a point in my life to where now I just focus on being the best man that I can be, because really and truly, I look at the acronyms and the pill and all that, but I just think that like men going their own way. I think I would be considered a MGTOW because I'm going my own way. The thing about MGTOW is this: a lot of different people have a lot of different, thank God for that, bro. A lot of different people have a lot of different concepts of what MGTOW is, red pill is, all this kind of stuff. Look, I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. One thing I'm not a dating coach and I'm not a relationship expert, bro. I don't fall into either one of those categories. I don't fall under the category of talking about being alpha, beta, and all this kind of stuff, or trying to give dudes advice about relationships and all this. Because I want y'all to realize one thing, man. And this is what I want people to realize was very important. If you got eyes that can see and ears that can hear, I just want you to look. I just want you to look at this, man. If you take advice from these dating coaches or these people that talk about relationships or these PUAs or these guys that talk about all this kind of stuff and everything like this, you need to take a look at this, bro. And I'm not knocking anybody and I'm not talking down on anybody and I ain't saying no names and I ain't saying none of that kind of stuff. But this is what people need to understand, bro. Every person that's on here that's telling you how to date women and be in relationships and doing all this kind of stuff, all of them have the same thing in common, man. And the thing that they have in common is this: they all have 100% failure rate in relationships. So why would you want to listen to someone who has 100% failure rate at what they're telling you to do? I don't get it. I don't understand it. So I never really subscribe to none of that kind of stuff. You don't need a coach to date. You don't need a coach to be figure out how to get women or none of that kind of stuff, man. All that stuff comes and goes in your life, man. Life is meant to be lived, man. 100% value. That's exactly what happens. Look, because check it out like this. I see a lot of people in here, you know, they had the same belief system as me, and they had the same views on life. And most people have a relationship with the Most High. What people need to understand about life is this, man. I think we have a lot of control, a lot more control over life than we think we have, man. And the thing about life is it's meant to be lived. It ain't meant to be planned. It ain't meant to be set out. It's just meant to be lived. It's a journey. And the thing about it is this, like one thing I learned about, I know a lot about the word. I ain't really gonna get into that because it ain't the platform for it. I think I'm gonna make a different channel, you know, cater toward the Most High and to scripture and all those kind of things. I'm thinking about making a new channel, cater to people that listen to that kind of stuff. So the thing about it is this, you know, in the book that I read, in the book I believe in, which is the Bible, and I've studied the Bible throughout my life, and I studied scripture and I meditated on it. The one thing the Bible says about life is this: it says, "The Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away." So if he chooses to give you something, you're going to get it no matter what. And if he chooses to take away something from you, you can't hold on to it no matter what. So what I learned about life is not to become too attached to anything, because I know anything can go at any time. And you have a lot of people ask themselves, like, why good stuff happens to bad people and bad stuff happens to good people and everything like that, because they have a scripture in the Bible that says this also. It says the rain falls on the just and the unjust. So when it comes to life, I really ultimately understand that, like, my life is in the hands of the Most High, who I choose to call God, and he has ultimate authority over my life. So I'm going to go through whatever he wants me to go through. I'm gonna have to have whatever obstacles and everything that I have to go through, and experiences and trials and tribulations and all this stuff, because I ultimately understand, like, in order to be groomed to be a messenger, people have to realize that you've had the experience about what you're talking about. And that's why I can help people that have been on drugs. And that's why I can help dudes to leave toxic women. And that's why I can help people to become successful, because the whole fact of the matter is I ain't just talking that talk. I done walk that walk, you know? So the thing I'm gonna say about it is this, man. If you want to become personally autonomous, you have to realize that personal autonomy is when you ultimately have the right to self-govern and choose to do what you want to do. And the greatest aspect of my life is this, man. I just want to say this. Even though I don't do a whole lot, because I look at myself as being boring, because I'm not really into going out and doing all kind of stuff and everything like that, the greatest thing that I have in my life is, if I was to choose to do anything, I could do anything within reason, man. I could travel wherever I want to go. I could go wherever I want to go. I could hang out with who I want to hang out with. What up, Alf? My man. Yeah, so I just look at it like, you know, just becoming personally free, man. And I also understood that, like in business, like I was talking about earlier, like I don't have no boss. Like, and the thing about it is, if you do start a business and you do start working for yourself, and you've been working for people forever, you'll forget that you work for yourself when you call your own shots. Because sometimes I was so used to waking up at 6 in the morning and going to work at 7 that I didn't realize, like, I don't have to wake up that early anymore to go to work. I could go at 8 if I want to, and I don't have to stay till 4:30. I don't have to stay till 4:30 at night or 4:30 in the afternoon if I want to. I could leave at 3. I don't have to stay till 4 on Friday. I can leave at 12. And ultimately, this is the whole thing about it, man. They got guys out there that work for other people that make as much money as me, and probably even make more money than me. But the thing about it is, guys that work offshore, guys that work on boats, guys that have these big jobs at these oil field companies and everything like that. The thing about it is this: I probably work a third of the time they do, and I'm home at least 5 o'clock every day. So I'm just telling you, man, if you haven't experienced it, and I would tell any, and that's the final thing I'm gonna say before I close this out, man. The most important thing you're ever gonna do as a man, bro, is to get by yourself for an extended period of time, man. Get your own place. Don't live with anyone. Stay by yourself, man. This is my opinion. This is the way I look at it. Get by yourself, man. If you want to look at it as going monk, if you want to look at it as, you know, whatever you want to look at it as, man, get some time to be by yourself, man. Be by yourself. Stay to yourself. Don't let no distractions come into your life, and figure out who you are as a man. Because once you figure out who you are as a man, you will never let anything come into your life that's going to take you off of that course, man. You know, you're going to be able to figure yourself out. You're going to be able to understand what you like, what you don't like. You're going to start to have boundaries in your life. And then once you get by yourself and you become comfortable with being by yourself, you're not just going to allow anybody to come to your life just to not be by yourself, man. Once you overcome the loneliness and you overcome, you know, the feelings of being alone, and you acclimate to being alone, you'll have the ability to screen people, whether it be friends or women, and see if they're fit to be in your life and be on the course that you're going. Because what you're going to have to understand is this: once you get to a point in your life where you start elevating, people are going to start dropping off, man. One thing about elevation, the most important part of elevation is separation, man. Once you start elevating in your life, the people that were there with you at one time, you're going to see that they start falling off, because the thing about it is light and dark can't stay in the same place. Oil and water can't mix together. So what'll happen is, it's not even a purposeful thing, but once you, like when I got off of drugs, the people that I was doing drugs with, they just went away because now we had nothing in common. Once I started elevating past like chasing women and being a simp, all my simp friends and all my simp family members started to get away from me, because now we have nothing in common, because the truth and lies can't stay around each other. So what would happen is, and I'm gonna tell you something about this, man, if you go big tile red pill, you just understand the truth, or you start living by truth and your truth and stuff like that, you're gonna lose a lot of people, man, because what you gotta understand is people fear what they don't understand, man. And most guys are just so stuck, bro, in the matrix, and they just so stuck of their woman's vagina, bro, that they're never gonna come to a point of understanding of where they could see past the pussy, man. That's just the reality of it. And your friends that are with women and stuff like that, their women are not gonna want them anywhere around you, because you're gonna be the biggest threat to waking them guys up, man. Like I lost friends that I've been having my whole life, bro. Once I took the pill and I started going down a rabbit hole and I started understanding what was going on out here, bro. People I thought that was gonna be with me for the rest of my life, I haven't talked to in years, man, because I ultimately know that their woman gave them an ultimatum and said, it's either him or me. If you hanging around him, you're not gonna be with me, because like I'm not putting up with that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if like I said, get by yourself. Figure out a way to become an entrepreneur, man. Figure out, because your talent is what's gonna make you money, man. Figure out what your talent is in life. Figure out what your skill set is, and monetize that, man. Whatever it is. If you go with computers, if you know how to fix cars, if you know how to do plumbing, whatever you good with, man, figure that out, bro. And yeah, man, my circle's so small, it'll be a period, man, if it was any smaller, man. I got about 5 or 6, but y'all are all my family in here, bro, because I know the thing about it is all y'all had the same mindset as me, man. You know, and I just thank y'all for the support. I thank y'all for listening to me. I thank y'all that y'all think that I have enough to say of substance that y'all will be in here and listen to me, man. And the only thing I ask from any of y'all, I don't want nothing from y'all. I don't want no money. I don't want nothing, bro. All I ask you, man, is when you get the opportunity to peel somebody and you can help somebody to do it, man. That's it, bro. That's all I ask, man. Like when you get the opportunity to come across somebody and you get to like, because I'm going to tell you how it works, man. If you got friends and family in your life who are in relationships right now, the only time that they're going to be open for the pill is when they catch that shot in the bush. When they don't see that sniper in the bush, bro, and all of a sudden the woman pulls a shot, BAM! It hits them in the head. Whenever they injured, they're going to be open, man. When that girl leaves them, when that girl cheats on them, when she finds somebody else, when she starts acting funny, when she starts doing that. And whenever that happens to them, what you have to do is you have to subtly give them the pill in a non-judgmental, non-aggressive way, man. You share your experience with them and you just tell them to look at the overall spectrum of everything. And if they open to it, you know, they'll sit there, they'll listen to you, They'll take your suggestions, and if they're not open to it, and they're your friends and your family members, and you care about them and you want them in your life, I had to get to a point to where, what's up, Derek? I had to get to a point to where like I had to leave them alone, man. Not leave them alone as far as like be in my life or anything like that, but not push it on them anymore because not everybody was open. And I'm gonna say something else too. If you plan on being an entrepreneur, owning your own business, and everything that you want to do, yeah, me too, Scant. I got a few of them on my team, bro. Um, I'm gonna talk about the importance of the avatar, and what I mean by that is this: I am the man with one eye. That's who I am. That's who I've become. That's who I am. That's what I am at my core. But I have to go out into the world and be who my parents named me with my government name. Because the thing about it is this: if I send the man with one eye out all the time and I try to push the truth on everybody and push the pill on everybody and do all that kind of stuff, there's no way I'm gonna be able to maneuver and operate in this world in a successful fashion, man. Because in business, people don't want to hear that stuff, man. They trying to stay asleep. They trying to stay in limbo. They trying to look at the world from an idealistic viewpoint instead of a realistic viewpoint. Now, I will say this: there are some men out there who have been through what we've been through that are my customers, and they have a level of respect and admiration for me because I tell them the truth, and they agree with the stuff that I say. But you got to kind of be careful with people because, like, the work that I do is for women and stuff like that a lot. So if I go out the man with one eye and just start talking about the pill and all that to them, I wouldn't be able to operate in the fashion and be successful in the fashion I'm with. So the thing about it is like finding a balance with like whoever you were and who you are now. You know how to operate. Yeah, Scandala. I don't personally know you or anything like that, but I always see you in here with me, bro. And I'm sure you'd be good at doing that, man. You have a life and a dualistic life in this world. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But think about it, man. I was thinking about it. I was on Darius's channel. Shout out to Darius, man. We probably don't agree on everything, bro. But one thing I want to say, bro, is I respect one of the videos he made recently. And like I'm starting to see the change. Yeah, only the ones who open. Well, yeah, some people have been in the matrix too long, brother. Where if you try to open them up, bro, it'll short circuit your program. But Darius made a video a couple nights ago, and he was on live, and he made a video called "The Time I Fell in Love with a Whore," man. And that was a really, really good live, bro, because like he was transparent enough to like talk about his experience with that, man, and show that he ain't always been the person that he is, man. And I ain't always been the person I am because I did the same thing, bro. I fell in love with one of them. And I just didn't know any better. And I think it's very important for us to be transparent and to be honest with our situation, honest about our failures, and honest about the things we feel ashamed about that we did and stuff like that. Because what I'm telling you is this, bro. When you're transparent and you're honest, man, people know that, bro. And when people that's on here faking the funk and talking about all this, y'all know the real from the fake. Y'all know what's real and y'all know what's fake. Y'all know who's on here just talking the talk, and y'all know who really is walking the walk and who's done what they done. So like I said, man, be the ruler of your own world. Get to yourself, and this is how you know you're fully autonomous, man. And this is what the whole thing. This the whole thing about it that I learned about being personally autonomous and how you know that you've reached that final level and that pinnacle of masculinity of personal autonomy. This is when you'll know. Whenever you look at your life and you realize you don't need anyone for anything, and everybody in your life is because you choose them to be there because you want them to. When you don't need anybody to give you any money, when you don't need anybody to give you any validation, when you don't need anybody to be there for you, when you can stand alone, and you know at the end of the day that you rule your own world, that you and the Most High rule your own world, and you depend on Him and what you can do for yourself. And when you look up and you think to yourself, if everybody that's in my life right now decided to depart, would I still be okay? And when I look at my life today, no matter what would happen and who wouldn't be in my life that's in my life now, I would be okay. I don't depend on anybody for money. The only thing that I depend on people for in my life is support. But even if that left, I would be able to somehow support myself because I learned how to be by myself. So that's about all I got to say on that, bro. If any of y'all got any questions or anything y'all would like me to talk about before I get out of here, feel free to ask any questions and give any comments or anything that y'all would like for me to talk about. Anything that y'all would like to talk about, me to talk about in the future, any topics that y'all would like me to talk about. I'm gonna put my email address on here for everyone. That y'all could send me stuff if y'all want to. And I'd be more than happy to do some live streams and invite some of y'all to come onto my live streams, man, and have some one-on-one conversations, man. Because I always love to hear people, and I love to hear what people have to say, and their experiences, and getting their voices out there, man. So if nobody else got anything, and nobody that has nothing that they want to ask me about business or anything like that, or how to get themselves to a spot to where they want to be personally autonomous, I hope what I said shed some light on it. It gave y'all some insight. Maybe it could help y'all become the men that y'all ultimately want to be, and that the Most High would like y'all to do. And like me, try to live your life to please the Most High and not to please others. Because one thing I learned about this, and I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna shut up. The reason why I had understood that I was worshiping women and I worshiped a woman and I wasn't worshiping the Most High is because everything I did in my life was to please that woman. And whenever you're doing anything in your life to consistently, you're doing everything in your life to please something, that's your God. So I'm gonna leave y'all with that, man. Y'all have a good one, fellas. I'll talk to y'all soon. I appreciate the support being here with me.